demonstration covers Lab 5, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through this spreadsheet work first, and then we will georeference some coordinates off of the spreadsheets we've created. So basically we're going to part 2 first, create some spreadsheets, then we're going to attach spreadsheets to a warehouse we create and geocode those coordinates. So you'll basically go back through the procedures that we would have done in part 1. First thing we need to do is we need to get to the Blackboard site, learning modules, and we're going to do topic 5. And we want to save that into our C drive. I might have a folder there already. Nope. So create a new folder. That's going to be your surname, Lab 5. Save it into Lab 5. Minimize this screen. We'll go ahead and open the C drive a while. And I believe the download is complete. It is. So we can close at least the current tab, close that. And we'll go back to the home page. Minimize that. Double left click. Control A. Control C. Go back to the Wine Miller Lab 5, left click, Control V, copies everything in there. I'm going to delete this zip file. Let's take a look at what's in here. There's a couple spreadsheets, Hale County Schools and Hale County Churches. We'll take a look at them. Basically, Excel spreadsheet with feature name, state, county, type, latitude, longitude, USGS 7.5 minute map, and some remarks in there. The latitude and longitude, you'll notice, are in the format that you need to geocode or enter by hand into GeoMedia. So some work has already been done to these. These were downloaded from NEMA site. Let's go ahead and close that and open up Coordinate Convert. Coordinate Convert is a tool. It is not to be your data repository or database. So it's something that you're going to work with. You're going to be copying into and copying back out of, but you're not going to be saving it in any form other than it is right now. Let's take a look at it. We have a column for feature, a column for state, a column for county equivalent name, and a column for type. We're not going to be using these. We're only going to be copying into feature. Then we're going to be copying into lat copy and long copy. And you'll notice that the format of the coordinates in those two particular cells that I'm clicking in right now is the same format that you get off of the NEMA site when you're downloading coordinates of any feature. If we click on cell I2, you'll notice that it's a formula. It replaces E2, and really what it's doing is it's taking this 32 and adding a colon in there between it and the second 2 digits. So second pair of digits, which would be the minutes. Column J2, in that cell, you'll notice that it refers to I2 and modifies that, adds another colon. In K2, what's happened is the N is gone. So these quotes take out the N, and L2 is simply a copy of K2, but it is not a formula. It's just the values only. For longitude, we need an additional cell, and that cell adds a minus sign in because we're talking about west longitude. So we have the same across there. This is just a particular value. It's the value of this particular cell here without the formula. Now, when you're working with this spreadsheet, we're going to copy and paste into this column, into this column, into this column. You're going to notice that these are going to change instantly. And when we replace what we've done, so we're going to copy out the results of modifying these coordinates. We're going to delete, but only delete back to row 3. We want to leave the formula in there. You don't want to delete that. So let's keep that open. And in order to get another incident of Excel open without keeping it in the same window, we want to be able to switch back and forth. We're going to find the program under all programs. I'm going to move this over for a moment. Under all programs and open up another incident of Microsoft Office Excel. So start all programs. And we want to scroll down to Microsoft Office and left click on Excel. Now you notice we have another Excel spreadsheet. Let's go back to our project folder for a minute and open up the lab. And if we scroll down here, you'll see this is the GeoTIFF. We're going to be using this. And here is converting and preparing NEMA coordinates in Microsoft Excel for geocoding and GeoMedia. What geocoding is going to do is allow you to plot a lot of points from latitude, longitude data instantly rather than having to key it in. So what we're going to do is we're going to first have to change the format of the cells in 2 of the sheets in the workbook to be text format, and you'll see why in a moment. So let's reduce that. So definitely you have some instructions here. In order to reformat cells, all of the cells that you're going to be working with, you left click on the column header, that alphabetical header, and roll across. Not in cell 1, but in the column header, left click and roll across to L. So you've highlighted all of L, right click in the center of the blue area, and we're going to format cells, and we're going to make them text. So left click on text, click OK. While we're on this sheet, double left click on the sheet, and we're going to name that. We're going to do Macon County, MACON underscore SCH for schools. Oops. So that'll be Macon Schools. Let's go to sheet 2 by left clicking on the sheet. Let's call that one Macon underscore CHU for churches. Left click on the A, hold down, scroll across to L, right click in the blue space, format cells, and we're going to make that text and OK. So basically we're going to have one Microsoft Excel workbook with a tab for Macon Schools and a tab for Macon Churches. So if that's the case, let's left click on sheet 3, right click, and let's delete that sheet. So we don't want any extra sheets. So let's go back to Macon Schools and left click in cell A1, and that's going to be the header, and you'll see the cell designation up there. Now we want to go to NEMA site, so we need to get to the lab sheet, which has a hot link on it, and we want to left click on that and allow, and that should open up our NEMA site. And that seems to be working a little slow. So let's just copy this. Control C to copy. Go back into Microsoft. Open up a new tab. Control V and hit enter. And I'm at the NEMA site. Now, We want to search domestic names. You've been here before, but you've been here only to get coordinates for a few items. Left click on search domestic names. We're not going to put a feature name in this time. We're only going to put in the state. So select the state. And these instructions are clearly spelled out in the lab. And we want to go to Macon County. And we want to pick up all the schools first. So we're going to scroll down to schools, highlight it, and send the query by left-clicking on the Send Query button. Follow these instructions to a T, and you should have no problems. So it takes just a moment to do that. You'll notice that we have rows 1 through 15 of 54. So there are 54 schools in this particular database. We want all of them because we're going to left click and roll down here and copy all these into the Excel spreadsheet. So we want to left click on view and print all. And that'll take a moment. Here we have all of them. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to left click and hold right to the left of feature name, left click and hold down my left clicker, and I'm going to drag it down, drag down until everything is highlighted all the way to the end of that date. If I get view and print all, you see it down there in the lower left, I'll just roll up until I get that. I've got that highlighted. I'm going to Control C. Then I'm going to open up my spreadsheet that I formatted, text only. I'm going to left click, I'm going to right click in there and Control V. Let's just left click and Control V. And you'll notice it's dirty data. It has a lot of hyperlinks in it, but we have this icon right here, which we can left click on the drop down. And this will, there's two options, keep source formatting or match destination formatting. I'm going to show you a different way to do this by right clicking next time. Left click on match destination. You'll notice now it took all of the dirty hot links out of there. And all we have to do now to expand this across here is left click and hold on the column header all the way up at the top block, the alphabetical block. Roll across until everything is highlighted, all the cells that have data. And then you'll notice that as I leave off the left clicker and roll back my mouse, I get a double pointed arrow, double left click, and it expands everything. Okay, so I have the schools. Let's left click on churches, left click up in cell A1. So we'll be there when we need to be. Go back, and just change from school to church. So scroll up to church, highlight it, send query. Once again, 1 through 15 or 129, you can see what's priority in Alabama. It's definitely not schools, it's church. Left click, view and print all. And give it a moment to return all of those records. Then we're going to left click and hold to the left of feature name again. Left click, hold, drag all the way down. If you go too far, you can adjust this. Keep holding down on your left clicker, drag all the way down, and left click and adjust it to get the date. Control C. We're going to go back to our spreadsheet. Oops, wrong one. So let's get the other one. And we're going to left click. This time we're going to right click, and you'll notice the paste options are here. Match destination, left click, and it will paste them in there just to match. And you also have the option of switching back and forth if you have to miss it there. Okay, once again, left click at the A. You'll notice I have a black down arrow. Scroll across till I have all of those highlighted. Let go of my left click button roll over to the left until I get to the divider bar. I get a double arrow, double left click, and it spreads them all apart. And what it's basically doing is expanding the cell, the visible cell, until it reaches a point where you can see the maximum length feature in that column. Okay, let's go back to making schools. And I want you to left click up in cell A1 right there at feature name. You want to turn on cap locks. What we're going to do is, you know that feature names can't have spaces, they can't have operators, so there's lots of problems. In Excel, there are also hidden codes that you can't see. So we have no idea what we pulled in with this. Even though we pasted text, there may be something in there that's bad. Certainly here we have a space. Over here we have parentheses and an asterisk. Those are operators. Here's more asterisks. And here's some spaces. So let's fix this. Here's how we're going to fix it. I've got my caps on. I'm going to type feature name. So I'm going to type feature, just overtype underscore name. I'm going to hit my tab, ID, retype right over ID, retype class, and retype this because you don't know if there's a space after the last S in class. County, state, latitude, longitude. For elevation feet, I'm going to type ELE underscore FT. For map, I'm just going to type map. And that's a USGS 7.5 minute quad. Okay, BGN date and entry date, we're not going to use. So I'm going to left click on the J, the column header, so it highlights everything down that column to infinity. I think an Excel spreadsheet can hold 66,000 some odd records, so it will go down 66,000 cells. Left click and hold and roll across to K. Then I'm going to right click and delete. Now, if you'll remember, we formatted L as text. Let's go ahead and catch all of them. JKL, right click, delete. That takes out any formatting and we'll have a nice clean spreadsheet. Now, instead of retyping this, first of all, let's left click, roll across, and re-expand everything. Instead of retyping all of these on the making churches, which we really need to do, let's go ahead and left click in the row, numeral 1, out in the row designator, this ID, not in feature name, but right here in row, left click, Control C. You'll notice it starts to copy here. Go to making churches, don't click here. It'll give you a mismatch error. Left click and feature name only, Control V. And you'll notice we copied the headers in through map, J, K, and L. Left click and hold, roll across all three because we're going to get rid of those. Right click while you're up there and delete. And what it does, you'll notice that it just renames additional cells. It just flips cells over. But now we're certain that everything's formatted correctly. Let's go back into making schools. Everything looks good to me. I'm going to go to File, and we're going to Save As. The reason we're going to Save As is because you cannot attach a spreadsheet in GeoMedia that's in any version other than 97-2003. It won't accept it. So let's go ahead first and find our folder. And we're going to call this Macon County. And I'm going to change the version by right below there. It says Excel Workbook. Left click on that. And Excel 97-2003 workbook, left click. Now you notice when you did that, Coordinate Convert showed up in the folder, so did Hale County Church and Hale County Schools. And by the way, Hale County Church and Hale County Schools are two separate workbooks. This is a shortcut. We're putting two sheets in the same workbook for Macon County. Save. Okay, so now we have the material, the data copied over there. Here's what we're going to do now. We're going to have to copy and paste, and actually we can minimize that. We could minimize that. And we're going to be dealing with coordinate convert now. First thing I want you to do, left click on A. Left click on A. It copies that whole column, Control C. We want to left click in A2 on this one, Control V. Didn't do it. Control C. Cut it out. Having an issue here. We'll do it this way. Control C. Control V. There you go. Control V. Having a little issue there. A little Excel issue. So now we should start up at the top with Gold Lust, and we should have 55 columns in coordinate convert, and we have 55 columns ending with warrior stand. Okay, so we got those copied over. Next thing we want to do, I think it was a mouse issue, honestly. We want to lat copy, lawn copy, and we just want to copy these two over. So let's left click here, roll across, and scroll down and catch both of them because they're right alongside each other. When we get to the bottom, Control C. Now we want to copy right here. And only click lat copy. You don't have to roll across or roll down. Control V. You'll notice it copied everything down, and if we look across here, everything is lined up. Perfect. Now, let's take coordinate convert and have a look at it a minute. You'll notice that this number now, this value matches that. But this doesn't because that's just a copy of what was here, and what was here was based on another coordinate that was in there. All of these across here match that. That's your check. Always do that. Now, how do we get a formula down all to the bottom? Here's how we do this. Now watch. You'll notice that I have, as I'm rolling around, I don't have a pointer or an arrow. I have a cross that is white filled. If I left click in the center of that box and hold and roll to the right 3 spaces, everything is highlighted. These two are highlighted. This is highlighted too, but it doesn't show up in blue. So they're all boxed in, and my cross is white filled. If I roll to this little, if I roll below it to the line, I get the 4-sided cross with arrows. That means I could expand that. Or if I roll to this little box, I get a black filled cross. That's what I want. Once I get that, I left click and hold and drag it to the bottom, and I can move that cross all over, but it doesn't occupy any more cells, doesn't highlight any more cells. Once it gets to the bottom, it intuitively stops. I let go. What I've done is copied the formulae down there, not values, formulae. So this is different than that. And you'll notice that this matches that. This is in the format we really need of that. Okay, so we've taken care of that one. Do the same thing here. Left click in the center while you have a white filled cross. Left click and hold. This one, we need all 4 of those cells, not 5, 4. And I don't know why that's doing that over there, but we'll get that fixed anyways. So we have a minus 085.49, so it's matching. Roll till you get this black cross, left click and hold, scroll down, let go. This matches that. Okay, last step. We're going to make sure that we have the white filled cross in this instance. We're going to left click in the center of that and just roll down. Now when you have this white cross, you could actually go across. You don't want to do that. Once we get to the bottom, Control C. We're going to go up to the top. We're going to left click, right click, and you see this second one over says paste values, left click. And you'll notice what it did. This is a formula. You see the formula? This is a copy of that, but it's only the values. That's what we're going to do. Here, again, left click and hold, go all the way down, Control C, go up to the top, corresponding cell, corresponding, left click, right click, paste values. Now you notice this equals that, and all the way down, they're equal to each other. That's what we want. Okay, now what do we want to do? We want to copy these values into the cells of our data spreadsheet. Remember, this coordinate convert is only a worksheet. So what we're going to do is left click, white cross only on latitude first, go all the way to the bottom, Control C. Go to our spreadsheet with data, left click on latitude, Control V. Go to the bottom. It should work out. It should line up. Left click intuitively in longitude because that's the next one you're going to do. Go back to coordinate convert, up to the top, not all the way. Everything has to correspond. Cells have to correspond. Left click, white cross, roll all the way down. Once you've got it all highlighted, Control C, go back to your other spreadsheet. We're going to do longitude. We're right here, left click, right click, and we want let's do it this way. Control V. I don't know why it didn't. Yeah, we want to. That's fine. Control V should do it. Let's make sure. Yes. Okay. So now we have everything copied across. 85, 32, 22, 85, 32, 22. Here's what we copied over. 32, 17, 33. Looks like a good plan to me. Let's save this. Okay, and these are in a format now that we can geocode. They look just like the coordinates you would find in GeoMedia. Let's go to churches now and go up to feature name. Go back to coordinate convert. We're done with coordinate convert for the schools. What we're going to do now is just left click in 3. Remember, don't do 2 because that has your formula. Highlight all the way down, then right click out in the blue, clear contents. You notice everything's gone. We're going to start over again. Feature name, we're in churches, Control C, go to lat copy, Control V. So now we started with the churches. Perfect. Go over here. We need to copy these values right here because they're wrong. So roll across, white cross, all the way down to the bottom. Get both of them at the same time. Control C. Right here, corresponding, left click once. Don't roll across, Control V. You caught all of them. You'll notice now this has changed already. This one's still the old schools. Okay, we're ready to left click in the white field cross, go all the way across the 3 formulae, not 4. Grab the little box so our cross turns black, left click and hold, pull it down. And what we're basically doing is copying the formula. There they are. Does this agree? 32, 16, 44, 32, 16, 44. For longitude, you have to give 4, white field cross, hold down, left click, hold down, go across 4. Cross turns black, left click, grab, pull it down. All the way to the bottom and let go. Does this agree? 85, 30, 85, 37, 26, 85, 37, 26. Looks like a winner to me. Last step. Left click, go all the way to the bottom, only that last column. Control C, go up to the top. Corresponding cell, right click, paste special values. We just want the values. Notice no formula. Do the same thing on this side. All the way to the bottom. And this is a thinking person's game. It's sort of repetitive, but don't get out of control. Control C. If you Control V, it would copy your latitude in there. Right click, paste special values. There they are. Now, last thing we have to do. On latitude, left click, go to the bottom. And in this, we don't paste special. We just Control V, Control C. Go back here. We want to go up to its corresponding cell. We started right at the top. Look, we started right at the top. right below latitude. That's where we want to start here. Click right below latitude, Control V. You should go to the bottom, everything should line up. If I did that, there they are. Correct formula. I'm going to format. I'm going to left click here. I'm going to take and then left click here, left click, go to the bottom, the first cell under the attribute, Control C, go back to my data sheet. I'm already there, Control V. Everything should line up. Save. It's saved. Go to Macon School up here, save. It's in the correct format. I'm done with coordinate convert. I can close it. I don't need it anymore. Okay, so now I have this spreadsheet and I'm going to close it. So we have a spreadsheet making, it's been saved. Now we're going to open up GeoMedia. So launch GeoMedia. We're going to do a blank Geo workspace. And I'm not going to go through all the steps of part one. I'm just going to go through a few simple procedures, show you how to geocode coordinates. So I'm not going to do this, the full Monty, so to speak. So first thing we want to do is make a warehouse connection, new connection. It's access and it's going to be governors black belt. So I'm going to type governors and browse, and you're going to go to your folder on the C drive. Alabama governors black belt, open. Okay. Now, what I want to do is I want to create a new warehouse, and that's where we're going to do the attachment, the geocoding. So what I want to do is I want to go warehouse, new warehouse, access 97 normal. You always take this new button, and then you go back into your folder again because that's where you want everything to be housed. And we'll call this, let's call it schools. Let's call it Macon for this particular purpose. Macon County, SCH, and CHU. That'll give us a good idea of what it is. Save. Okay. All I want to do right now is I want to get, well, you know what? I think we're good. Let's go ahead and display the state of Alabama counties. So we're going to add legend entries. We have nothing in Macon County schools or churches yet, and that's fine. We'll leave it that way. Let's display Alabama counties and black belt counties. So there's Alabama counties and black belt counties. And let's take black belt counties. There are 12 of them. Make them red and give them about a 2 for thickness. Apply. Okay. And now you'll see the black belt counties show up. We could actually make them just a little thicker. Let's go 2.5. Okay. They show up very well then. And Macon County is right here. So that's going to show up good. All right. Now what I want to do is I want to insert a geotiff. There's a geotiff in this project. So we're going to insert georeferenced image. We're going to leave it automatic. We're going to browse and find our folder on the C drive. You click the folder and hold it down. And there's one, there it is. It says black belt geotiff. Geotiff indicates that it is a geotiff. When you highlight it, there's an arrow to the right for selected files, left click, and it throws it over there. If you get an error message here, it means it's not a geotiff and you're going to have to go back and regroup. It is a geotiff. I want to put it in my Macon County schools and churches, and I'm going to call it exactly what it is, black belt geotiff, and add a new legend entry. Put a check in the box, okay, and there it is. And I'm going to pull it to the bottom. So now we have all our counties with the image in back of it. Now what I want to do is, in order to get the spreadsheet into the GIS, it needs to be attached. So you do that by going to Warehouse, Feature Class Definition, left click. We're going to left click on Macon County Schools and Churches. That's where we're going to attach it. And we're going to click the attach button. Wow, that's intuitive. So left click attach. Here it's asking us what kind of format are the data in. This says text. If you click the drop down, XL97. And I don't think, see, there's lower versions XL. So XL97 is the highest version we have. So now we've told it, look for an XL97 format, workbook or worksheet. Browse, go to your folder. There's Macon County, left click and click open. You'll notice it picked up both worksheets. Now you know for sure why I deleted sheet 3. It would show up as sheet 3 and you wouldn't know what's on it. Now you know why I advised you to name the sheets. Now you know what's on the sheet. If we didn't name the sheets, we would have sheet 1 and sheet 2. How would we know which one is schools and which one would be churches? I'm going to take this little tail off of here because I just don't like the look of it and say okay. There they are now. They're attached, those two spreadsheets. Okay, if we want to see what's in the spreadsheet, we could actually open a data window. So let's go to left click on Window, New Data Window, and left click on Montgomery. And let's take a look at my Macon Schools. There's the data in your spreadsheet. Latitudes in the proper format, longitudes in the proper format. Everything looks great. Everything's showing up. It looks great. Close that. Now we're going to geocode those coordinates. That means that we're actually going to create a point feature based on the latitude and longitude that are in that particular data set. So that's a query. So analysis, it's under query functions, geocode coordinates. It's almost to the bottom, left click. Now the software is asking, what do you want to geocode the attributes in? You left click to do the drop down. Expand Macon County Schools and Churches, and let's pick up the schools first to highlight it. The first time you geocode in a geo workspace during a session, you have to assure yourself that the coordinate system, the geographic coordinate system that the GIS is set to look for is the same, agrees with the coordinate system on the spreadsheet. So ours is in degrees, minutes, and seconds separated by a colon. The default on most warehouses is decimal degrees, so it would just say degrees. So let's left click on the coordinate system button and roll out here to Units and Formats tab and left click. Now you'll notice default units. We start with angle. You must scroll down to geographic and highlight it. I said it was set up in degrees and I was correct. Left click on the drop down, scroll up until you see D:(M:)S, degrees, minutes, and seconds, and leave the precision the same and click OK. Now it knows that that's the format that the coordinates are going to be in. That's what to look for. That's what to geocode. Now it's asking us, where's the latitude in degrees, minutes, and seconds? If you left click, you'll notice that what you're seeing here, you're seeing the attribute titles of the columns in the spreadsheet. Latitude is latitude as far as I know, unless we mix them up, and longitude is longitude. Watch what happens when we highlight that. We get a point feature here. And it's going to be called Geocoded Points of Macon Schools. Display points in map window. We'll go ahead and display them in the map window for the fun of it. You don't have to do anything with height. Click OK. There they are. There's all points. That's much faster and much less onerous than trying to key them in up here. Let's go ahead and put the churches in. So we're going to go to Analysis, Geocode Coordinates. Instead of Macon Schools, click the drop down, Macon Churches. Now, you don't have to click this again as long as you haven't saved the Geo Workspace, closed it, and have reopened it. To prove that, I'm going to left click on it. I'm going to go out to Units and Formats, scroll down to Geographic, and it's still DMS. It stays that way as long as you're in a session. It will go back to the default every time it opens. So all you have to do is click Coordinate System, and then Latitude, Latitude, Longitude, Longitude, green. Let's change the color of these to red. Okay, display in map window 1, and there's your churches. Very good. Quick. Deadly. Okay, now what I want to do is these are still queries. If we look under analysis queries, you'll notice we have geocoded points of Macon churches and geocoded points of schools. They're still queries. We want to make them permanent feature class in the Microsoft Access database. That way we can save that database, we can move it around from computer to computer, and we have those features as long as we want them for GIS applications. So how do we do that? You've done this before. Warehouse, output to feature classes. Expand queries and check both of them. It's going to go into Macon County schools and churches. That's where we want it to go. But what we want is we want to left click on the Advanced tab, and we want to change the target feature class name to something meaningful. Geocoded points of Macon schools, geocoded points of Macon church isn't meaningful. But if we just did Macon church and Macon school, and let's go ahead and type out church. So Macon churches, Macon schools. We're definitely going to display the target feature class in the map window. Click OK. It's telling us 2 feature classes. Yes. And they're there. Unfortunately, it did red again, so the churches are just laying right over top and blue over top of green. Now what we can do is get rid of these 2 geocoded. So I'll left click, hold my shift key down, left click again, then I'll right click, and I'm going to delete those legend entries. So all we have left are the feature classes. As a matter of fact, I could actually go up now in analysis queries and delete those queries. I'm not going to, but I could. Okay, now what we want to do is we want to change the symbol of these like you did in, I believe, Lab 3. Let's go ahead and double left click on the churches, go to Properties. Instead of predefined, we want to click the drop down and do GeoMedia feature symbol files, browse, and pick up base map FSM feature symbol media. Just left click on there, open it. And under Aqueduct Tunnel, we want to do church bold. And we want to make it 12 point. Actually, let's make it 14 point. And we want to override the color, and let's make it a nice royal blue. Okay, apply. Make changes it there. We can move that out of the way. It changed it there. And okay, Macon schools, double left click, properties. Predefined, must change it. Feature symbol files, browse, base map, open, and we want school bold. Override again, let's make that 14. And override the color, let's make it purple, LSU purple. Okay. Apply. Okay. So we now have churches and schools in there. What else could we do? Well, we could put this in a layout window. Let's go ahead and open up a layout window. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom out so that I can box this off. Here's a consideration. When you're making a layout window of a geography that is more vertical than horizontal, you probably want the layout window to be portrait. If you're making a layout window of a geography that is more horizontal, you probably want a landscape window. Makes sense. So the United States, lower United States You probably want that to be a layout. And the state of Alabama, state of Georgia, state of Louisiana, state of Mississippi probably want those to be portrait. So that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to go to Window, Show Layout Window. Drag this out a little bit. I'm going to go File, Page Setup, and we're going to change to Landscape. And we'll leave it 8.5 by 11, and we can call it Macon Schools and Churches. And churches. Okay. Okay. Fiddle. Insert map. We're going to do by rectangle. Okay. It transports us back there, and I did the wrong layout, but that's okay. I think I chose landscape, but anyways, I'll fix that. There you go. There you go. Page setup. Portrait. Okay. I'm going to fit all. There it is. I'm going to clip this up a little bit. Don't need that much, so it gives me more room down here to type some things in. Suppose I want to just show the county. I left click, right click, map, zoom in, and I'm going to draw a box around Macon County so I can just see, and I could even do better yet. Okay. I want to put some text in here very quickly because I want to end this. We're going to make this about a 22 font. We'll see how that works out. And we'll make it Times New Roman. Yep. Okay, we got them. You got to click this arrow then. Left click that. You get this double bar. Put that in there. Okay, I have a label for that. I don't like looking at this map underneath here. I really don't like that. So I'm going to go back to the map window, and all I have to do is display all because we're dynamically looking at this. Go back to the layout window, and there you go. That looks a little bit better. And I could actually label these if I wanted to. There's lots of things I could do. Let's go ahead. You have to highlight this and insert a north arrow. I'm good with that one. And let's put it out here for now. Highlight it, make it a little smaller. And I'm going to put that in here. No, I'm not happy at anywhere that I'm putting that. Maybe right there. And under the general, I'm not happy with that. I think I'll put a box in there first. So left click down here. There's a box. That should fit in there. General box, boundary, content, tension. Oh, hang on just a second. Now let's get this out of here, man. Now we're at it. I was having trouble getting to it. I want it to be filled white. Okay. I'm going to click on this to highlight it, and I'm going to bring to front. The reason I'm going to bring it to the front because the last thing that was made was that other box, this one. Make this a little bigger. And if it was the last thing made, it's actually in the top layer of these. That looks pretty good. So I'm going to just highlight both of those and move them over in here. Now you notice that it covers up this portion of the map. And I'll put a scale bar in there. You got to highlight it again, insert, scale bar. We're talking about the United States. So we're going to do a double block and we want it to be in miles. Okay, there's our scale bar and we can pop that bad boy right in there. So there's our scale in miles. For now, I'm happy with this. Not really happy, but happy enough with the demo. So you see how we can do this. Let's go back to the map window. Let's go File. We want to save our Geo workspace. We want to put it in our folder. And it's going to be your surname. Close it. Let's go back to our folder just to make sure everything works. There's our Geo workspace. It's in the C drive on a folder, Miller Lab 5, double left click on the Geo workspace to make sure everything's working fine. There it is, just like we saw. Close it. Okay, we're going to go to the C drive. We're going to right click on the folder, right click, send to compressed folder. It's going to save it right there. It's Miller Lab 5. I'm going to open up Blackboard, go to the mail. I'm going to create a message. Send it to myself. I'm a lonely, lonely person. Lab 5. Put a little note in there like hi or attached. Something like that. How are you? I like this lab. I didn't like this lab. Browse. Go to the C drive, your folder. Oh, no, it's on the C drive. I'll get it. It's got the button and submit. It'll take a little while to upload. Now, coordinate convert. The point about coordinate convert, once more, it's a tool. It is not a database to store data in. It's a tool. It's simply a tool written to convert NEMA coordinates into a format that GeoMedia can take in and geocode. This whole lab is just an example of how you can go out to a site somewhere on the web or get digital data from some other source that's not in a format that will go into a GIS, do a workaround that converts those data into a format and then recover them, put them in your GIS. So at some point in time, you might have to do a little bit of formula writing in Excel or conversion or whatever. If I were to ask you to get the coordinates of 4 or 5 features, the best way to do it is open up an Excel spreadsheet, format 3 or 4 columns as text, and key them in right off an NEMA site. Don't go through the process of opening up Coordinate Convert. Coordinate Convert is basically just for batch formatting of large groups. There's my lab 5. I'm going to left click on it. I'm going to right click, save target as, and I'm going to put it on my desktop and show you that it really does work. It won't take but a minute. So batch conversion of large amounts. So it's there for, 100 coordinates you don't want to have to key in an Excel spreadsheet. 4 is manageable because you know the format they have to be in. Okay, the download's been done. I'm going to close this. Close all tabs. I'm finished with that. I'm going to go to the C drive and I'm going to delete what I had. And I'm going to actually delete Weinmiller Lab 5. I got something open. That's what I got open. Always have to try again. Okay, it's gone. Now what I'm going to do is double left click on the file I just downloaded, and I'm going to take this and throw it into the C drive. Okay, so this has been around the corner, so to speak. It's been uploaded to Blackboard, and then down, and then was zipped, then uploaded to Blackboard, and now it's downloaded and unzipped. Double left click, and let's double left click on here and see what happens if everything's been preserved. There you go. It looks just like it did when I left it. Layout window's perfect. Labels are good. The only thing I hadn't put on here is a legend. I could have put a legend on there, and you should put a legend on there. Let's go to the map window again and go to analysis queries. There's my queries. They have a little circle around them. And that's because after you unzip and send it north or south or wherever you're sending it, sometimes some of the connections and the geocoding are lost. Let's go to feature class definition. Let's go here, there. Let's edit this to see if they're there. They're still there. So the attachments are still there. I'm happy with it. If you would send me this, I would be very happy with it. So that is the end of this demonstration.